Alright, so today, because this came up a lot in the group, we're going to talk about what toners and essences are, how they're similar and how they're different. And I noticed that this came up as a question a lot in the group, so I thought that it would be good to cover that. So, hang on. Trying to get my presentation to work, and it's not working. Good, now it's working. Alright, so this is a rudimentary Korean beauty 10-step routine. And I worked on this today. This is a Prezi presentation. And Marissa and I are going to try to build on this. So we're going to have sections which talk about the different parts like oil cleanse, foam cleanse, mask, toners, essences is what we're discussing today. Eventually, hopefully we'll turn it into an interactive guide for you guys and put it on the website so you can kind of read it and figure it out on your own. But today, as you can see, we're going to be talking about toners and essences. So the toner/essence step, which is kind of the same thing, depending on whether it's considered Asian or whether it's considered Western. It comes pretty early on in the 10-step beauty routine. So it comes after cleansing and wash off masks and before serums and other treatments and oils, emulsions, creams, sleeping packs, and eye treatments, all those things. And it's similar if you translated this to Western beauty. So in Western beauty, you would talk about this in terms of the Clinique, for example, the Clinique 3-step method, which is cleanse, tone, and moisturize. So it's cleanse and then tone and then put on everything that has nutrition after that. So a good general rule of thumb would be, whether it's Western beauty or whether it's Asian beauty, is that a serum, a toner essence comes before a serum, comes before oils, comes before any other like heavier treatments. And today we're going to be focusing on the toner and essence step. So a lot of this boils down really to different definitions of the same step within Asian and Western beauty routines. So in Western routines, these are called toners. In Asian routines, these are called essences. Mostly in a Korean beauty routine, they're called essences. And toners in general, as far as most of us understand it, is a generally Western concept. So Western toners are supposed to be astringent, and astringent means that they contract your skin tissues. In particular, they're supposed to help contract your pores. They're supposed to help get rid of the final debris on your face from cleansing. And they may also contain alcohol. Western toners are generally harsher. And they may contain alcohol. They may contain harsher ingredients to kind of contract your pores. Now note that Western toners are not the same thing as acid toners. Acid toners are also more popular in the West, and I'll spend my next slide talking about acid toners. But don't note that just because something is called a toner, it's not the same thing as an acid toner. On the other hand, an Asian toner, also known as an essence or in Korean beauty an essence, it's not supposed to contract your pores. It's more supposed to help your other layers to absorb better. And how it does that is through acting as a humectant. And a humectant is a type of hydration which draws water to your skin. So what an essence does is that it contains humectants which pull water-containing ingredients in your above layers to the humectant and draws it into your skin. So this helps the other products that you put on top of the humectant to absorb better, and helps you have a deeper impact from your other things. So Western toners are generally harsher and they're not so much for hydration. Asian toners are really about hydration and to help your other products absorb better. So people have asked what's the difference between an essence, a toner, a first serum, a beauty water. In Sabbatical Beauty terms, all of them are the same. So you can use an essence interchangeably with a toner, interchangeably with a first serum, and interchangeably with a beauty water. If, however, you brought in a toner from a Western company or an acid toner, it would probably function differently. But if you stuck to a Korean Beauty toner or essence, it would do the same thing as the Sabbatical Beauty ones. Okay, so essences in general are also more dilute versions of serums. So for example, our Asian Powerhouse serum and our 5 Ginseng serum, both of them are very light, and so they're not viscous, they're not thick. So you can use that as a first serum, which also would be like an essence. An essence would be more dilute, so it wouldn't be as concentrated. A first serum would be more concentrated than an essence. So now we're going to move on to talk about acid toners. So acid toners are a pretty big thing in Western skincare, and you see them a lot in Sephora or like most beauty outlets when you go to the skincare aisle. They are also known as acids more commonly. They're different from astringent Asian toners because they actually contain various kinds of exfoliating acids like alpha hydroxy acid, beta hydroxy acids, vitamin C, retinoic acid, and more. And the point of acid toners is that they're supposed to exfoliate your skin chemically. So exfoliate basically means to take off the dead layer of skin on the surface. All of us have a dead layer of skin on the surface, and when you exfoliate that skin, you reveal that new skin underneath. And there are lots of different ways that you can exfoliate. You can exfoliate physically, which is when you use grains or something to physically rub off that dead layer of skin. You can chemically exfoliate, which is what these acid toners do, and you can also enzymatically exfoliate, which is what our beauty waters do, which use fruit enzymes. So when you want to exfoliate your skin. This is a desirable thing. You want to exfoliate your skin because that helps to renew your skin. It helps to even pigmentation and your skin tone. It also may help reduce the appearance of fine lines. So if you haven't heard of an acid toner or acid before, you probably have heard of a chemical peel, and you have probably seen people on TV get them, or you've seen your friends get them. And you also have probably seen like the results of a bad peel, which is like really red skin and like you look kind of burned. And that's usually because the acid that was pretty strong and the person might have had a bad reaction to it. And after they get over that bad reaction, usually your skin is okay. But acids and acid toners are not really suited for sensitive skin because it's very easy to get irritated from them. They're very good. They're very, very, very good if you, when you have the final effect from them, but they're also much more irritable than a lot of the other treatments that we have in Sabbatical Beauty. So if you have like really red skin after acid, you should also expect that to be normal and wait for a while for it to calm down. And especially if you have sensitive skin, I wouldn't advise you to like mix a lot of acids together. Just choose one or the other. So for example, alpha hydroxy acids are better for dry skin and beta hydroxy acids are better for oilier skin. So we are actually going to produce our very own medium strength acid for the first time in the summer box, and it's going to be called Jana's Strawberry Cocktail Exfoliating Toner. And it's going to contain a base of aloe vera and strawberry extract, fermented lemon peel, which is really good for brightening, and pomegranate, starfruit, kiwi, mango, lychee, jujube, and guava acids for medium strength exfoliation. So this is going to be the strongest acid that we will carry at Sabbatical Beauty, and they'll probably be available just for a limited time. We're also going to be developing a full strength acid, which all derive from fruits as well. And that will be stronger than the Jana's Strawberry Cocktail, which will be coming out in the summer box. So, basic difference between Western and Asian toners. So, Western toners are used as the final stages of cleansing, used for oil control, and maybe harsher on skin. Now, and important to note is that not all Western toners are acid toners. So, acid toners are often known as acids as well, which chemically exfoliate your skin. So that's just something to pay attention to. Asian toners in general are very hydrating and gentle and are used to prepare the skin for future layers of skincare. So the names for Asian toners include essences and first serums. You can also use our beauty waters as an Asian toner. And then finally, I wanted to tell you what in Sabbatical Beauty what all the products that will count as toners, essences, and first serums that you can use interchangeably. So the only toner / essence that we actually call a toner essence is the Maple Essence Toner. You can also use our first serums, which are very concentrated, which are our Asian Powerhouse Serum and our 5 Ginseng Serum as a toner, essence, or first serum. And then finally, you have beauty waters. All our beauty waters can also count as toners, and these are our beauty water, the peppermint water, tea tree beauty water. And Marissa will post a link so that you can actually see a whole collection. I created a whole collection of all of these toners and essences. And if you go to our webpage and go to shop, you'll see that as a category. And if you from now on, so that you are able to determine what would count for this step as well. So that's it. It's a pretty short presentation, but hopefully that was helpful for you guys. So okay, so let me see if you have any questions that have come up. Okay, so when Zelida says when Marissa uses the 10-layer system, does she interchange these or are all 10 the same? I think you're asking about her 7 skin routine, Zelida, which you have to ask her about. I think the 7 skin routine is about putting on 7 different layers of toners and serums, but you have to ask her because I haven't tried that myself. So I'm not sure. Natalie, for Jana's strawberry cocktail, yes, there will be AHAs in that. For the strong toner that I'm coming up with, we're going to have AHAs and we're going to have BHAs as well. So I'm trying to see if there are any more questions from you guys. Hope your baby shower goes really well, Victoria. Yeah, Carol, so you see the whole 10 steps, right? So our goal is that we will cover each one, and we'll talk about each one, and then we'll have a little video about each one, so that we'll cover all of it. And Marissa is also going to post for you guys a link to today's slides, so you can download them in case you have any questions, you can read them over. So Natalie says, any of the essence, toners, beauty waters are interchangeable. You can use one or all. Yes. You don't need to use more than one. If your skin feels a little dirty, I would suggest maybe using a beauty water. You can also put the maple toner or a first essence on top of that if you want, but I wouldn't say you necessarily need to use more than 2. Is there a particular one that is best for different skin types? So I would say that maple seems to be good. Maple, Asian Powerhouse, and 5 Ginseng seem to be good for generally all skin types. I haven't seen a skin type that gets irritated by them. For the beauty waters, some people react to the essential oil in that. The lightest one that most people don't seem to have any reaction to is peppermint water. So if you have extremely, extremely sensitive skin, I would suggest peppermint water. if you have oily skin and you are more acne prone, I would suggest the tea tree beauty water, which for my more acne focused folks seems to really help keep it at bay. So Diane says, for humectant toners or essences, do you need to apply with a cotton pad or can you just pat it in? If you're using a beauty water because you want to get the dirt off your face, I would suggest to use a cotton pad so that you can actually swipe the dirt off your face. But for everything else, if you don't necessarily want to take dirt off your face, if you're using the maple water, if you're using APH, you don't need to use a tone. You don't need to use a cotton pad. You can just pat it on. So Shwetanup, I'm sorry I'm saying that wrong, Shwetanup says, if I use APH, I don't need maple. You don't necessarily need maple. You might want to try maple instead. You see whether you like it better, if it works better for your skin. Some people do both. If you are trying to streamline your routine, I don't necessarily think you need both. You can just choose one and see which one works better for your skin and choose that as your mainstay. So Carol says, is beauty water more toner or essence? I can still follow with maple, or is that unnecessary? So Carol, beauty water is mostly a micellar water, but it also has some essence hydrating qualities to it. So if you are using it as a cleanser, I would follow it either with APH or maple. Which one works better for your skin, and then just use what works better for your skin. Hi, Foon. Cindy says, are some better for AM and some for, okay, maybe. I think you mean some for PM. I haven't seen anybody indicate that one is better for PM and one is better for AM. Just note that exfoliation does make your skin more sensitive, and all of our beauty waters contain some fruit enzymes in it that exfoliate your skin lightly. So it's just important to make sure you're wearing sunscreen while you're using a beauty water. The other ones don't contain those exfoliating things, so it's okay if you should wear sunscreen anyway, but it's even more important for you to be wearing sunscreen if you're using a beauty water. So any other questions, you guys? I hope this was helpful. So Tara says, maple really helped my skin recover from my hormonal acne this month. My skin is oily, sensitive. And yes, maple has seemed to really help people with acne or with oily skin. It has helped a lot of folks with oily skin to balance the oil in their skin as well. Yay, I'm glad it was helpful. Danielle, did you mean you had a question? Maple have acids? Yes, maple has acids too. Sorry, I forgot. Maple does have like the fruit enzymes in it. Yeah, I'm glad it was helpful. Is acid bad for my nose that peels? If your nose is peeling, it probably does not need more acids, because acids are to encourage your skin to turn over, and if your skin is peeling, it probably means that it's really dry. So I would add more hydration to your skin than acid. So I would put on those first essences instead. So put on APH, put on 5-ginseng instead of putting on an acid. Even though our acids are really, really gentle, so I wouldn't think you have a problem with them, but I would definitely avoid like the stronger acids that you can probably find in Sephora. Nicole says, if I'm using an acid, should I introduce maple and or a beauty water or not? Nicole, you can. I would do it slowly, like maybe introduce it once over a few days and then see. The level of acids in our maple essence and our beauty water is very low, so I wouldn't imagine that it should cause any trouble if you're already using an acid. But on the safe side, to be on the safe side, I would introduce it slowly. Alright, so thanks you guys for coming. I hope this was helpful. Marissa and I plan to do more. Like you can see this big thing, this 10-step routine that we brought up. We hope to do one for each one, so it can help you guys like connect everything together. And we'll do it slowly. So if you have any other questions you didn't think of, just like leave it in the chat, and Marissa and I will get back to you hopefully soon. And happy Friday to all the Americans. And my dog was bugging me before I started my live to go outside and bark at other dogs, so I guess I'm going to make him happy now and do that. Alright, so thanks you guys. Have a good night. Love you. Bye.